Welcome to the English Bite Podcast, one bite at a time.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English Bite, the podcast where we take a small, digestible bite of everyday English to help you improve your vocabulary, listening, and fluency. I'm your host, Jessica, and I am so glad you joined me today. Now, let me start today's episode with a simple question. Have you ever said yes to helping a friend move furniture on a weekend when all you really wanted to do was stay in bed and read a book? Or maybe you've agreed to take on extra work at the office, even though your schedule was already completely overloaded. If this sounds familiar, you might just be a people pleaser. So, what exactly is a people pleaser? In simple terms, a people pleaser is someone who has a strong urge to make others happy, often at the expense of their own time, energy, or emotional well-being. Today, we're going to dive into what it means to be a people pleaser, why so many of us fall into this trap, and how we can learn to set healthy boundaries without feeling guilty. Let's be honest for a moment. Wanting to be nice and helpful is not a bad thing. In fact, kindness and empathy are wonderful traits, but there is a huge difference between being genuinely kind and being a chronic people pleaser. Kindness comes from a place of love and abundance. You give because you want to. People-pleasing, on the other hand, often comes from a place of fear of rejection, fear of conflict, or fear that people won't like you if you say no. For a long time, I actually considered myself a recovering people-pleaser. I remember back in my university days, I used to say yes to every social event, every study group, and every favor requested of me. I thought that saying no would make me seem selfish or rude. But guess what happened? I ended up completely exhausted and burnt out. I wasn't being a good friend or a good student because I was giving away energy I simply didn't have. Psychologists say that people-pleasing often starts in childhood. Many of us were taught that being good meant being obedient, quiet, and agreeable. We learned to associate our self-worth with how happy we made the adults around us. Fast forward to adulthood, and those same habits follow us into our personal lives and professional careers. So, how do you know if you are a people pleaser? Here are a few common signs. First, you find it almost impossible to say no. When someone asks you for a favor, your automatic reaction is to say yes, even before checking your calendar. Second, you constantly apologize. You say sorry when someone bumps into you in the supermarket. You apologize for having an opinion, for taking up space, or for asking for help. Third, you pretend to agree with everyone. Even if you completely disagree with a colleague's opinion, you smile and nod because you want to avoid conflict at all costs. And finally, you feel resentful. This is a huge clue. When you constantly sacrifice your own needs for others, a small voice inside you starts to feel bitter and angry because your own needs are constantly being ignored. If any of these sound like you, don't worry. Being aware of it is the very first step toward change. Breaking the habit of people-pleasing doesn't mean turning into a mean or cold person. It simply means valuing your time and health just as much as you value everyone else's. Here are 3 simple strategies you can start using today. Number 1, pause before responding. When someone asks you for something, don't give an immediate answer. Say something like, "Let me check my schedule and get back to you," or "I need to think about that, I'll let you know later." This gives you time to evaluate whether you actually have the time and energy to help. Number 2, get comfortable with discomfort. When you first start saying no, you will feel uncomfortable, and that is completely normal. Remember that setting a boundary might disappoint someone briefly, but pleasing everyone all the time will exhaust you permanently. And number 3, practice simple, polite refusals. You don't need to give a long, complicated explanation or make up an excuse when you decline a request. A simple, "I'd love to help, but I don't have the capacity right now," or "Thank you for thinking of me, but I have to pass this time," is completely sufficient. Learning to prioritize yourself isn't selfish, it's essential. As the popular saying goes, you cannot pour from an empty cup. You have to take care of yourself first before you can effectively help or support others. What about you? Do you consider yourself a people pleaser, or are you good at setting boundaries? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Send me a message or leave a comment on our channel. Oh, listen to that. That ding means today's English Bite is fully baked and ready. Learning to say no and set boundaries takes time, but just like any skill, it gets easier with practice. I hope today's episode gave you some useful phrases and a little confidence boost for your week. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today on the English Bite. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a quick review, and share it with a friend who might need a gentle reminder to prioritize themselves today. Keep practicing your English, stay curious, and I'll catch you in the next bite. Bye-bye.